Coming up, the new talent joining the men's basketball team this season, plus a look into the Cubs offseason. I'm Kim Flores, and Rambler Sports Locker begins now. A lot has been going on in Loyola sports lately. We've got you covered. Jenny Marchi has all the highlights from soccer to volleyball in this week's Rambler Rundown.
Welcome back to another week of Loyola Sports. This week was an interesting week for soccer. Both the men's and women's team played at home. The men's team played against Fordham on Saturday, ending tie 1-all. The women's team played Richmond on Sunday, ending in a scoreless tie. On Monday and Tuesday, our men's golf team attended the Boilermaker Invitational at Purdue, finishing 11th out of 15th. This week's women's volleyball had two home games, the first on Friday against Duquesne, winning 3-0, and the second on Saturday against George Washington, losing 3-1. But that's not all for volleyball. This week, we had two great individual players noticed. From the women's volleyball team, Avery DeBleek has been named Defense Player of the Week by the A10. From the men's volleyball team, Ryan McElliott, who is currently part of the U.S. men's team, helped win gold at the 2025 NORCECA Final Six tournament. That's all for this week's rundown. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Jenny Marchi.
Thanks, Jenny. Now, over to some big news on the court. Henry's got the scoop on Loyola's newest recruits and what to expect this upcoming season.
A few weeks ago, I was on here telling you guys about the incoming transfers that were joining the Loyola basketball team this winter. Not only do the Ramblers have 5 new transfers joining the team, but Drew Valentine also recruited 2 new freshmen that are poised to make an early impact. The first of these new recruits is Nick Anderson, a 6'4" shooting guard who was the second-ranked player in Kansas this past recruiting cycle. Anderson has been an all-state player in the state of Kansas in his sophomore year, where he was first team, and his junior year, where he was second team. The other addition to the team just so happens to be the highest-ranked recruit in Rambler basketball history, Chuck Love III. Love is a 6'5" small forward, originally from Lincoln, Nebraska. However, he has spent his last few years playing ball for La Lumiere, a prep school in Indiana. This prep school is known for their basketball. He averaged 14 points, and he set the single game record for most points scored in a game. He also set the single season record for most three-pointers and field goals hit over a season. Drew Valentine has almost made a habit of recruiting the highest-ranked freshman in Loyola history, as Love and Anderson will be joining the previous owner of that title, Daniil Glaskov. For RSL, I'm Henry Isenberg.
Thanks, Henry. The future is looking bright for Rambler basketball. With recruits like Anderson and Love, Loyola's lineup is shaping to be one of the most competitive we've seen in years. Speaking of new team members, AJ Lee is here to take a look into what the Cubs could do with their offseason.
Following a disappointing Game 5 NLCS loss to the Milwaukee Brewers, the Cubs look to continue their climb in the NL Central. The biggest headline of the Cubs offseason is Kyle Tucker. Tucker is set to enter free agency and will likely be the most sought-after player by big-market teams like the Dodgers and Phillies. Cubs fans are divided on whether he is worth the estimated 8-year, $400 million contract or not. If Tucker decides to take his talents elsewhere, the Cubs will have to look at free agency, a trade, or within their organization for a replacement. Many Cubs fans are speculating on the return of Cubs legend Kyle Schwarber, who is entering free agency from the Phillies. The Cubs could offer him a contract that is roughly 4 years long and $120 million. Other fans have speculated on the return of former NL MVP Cody Bellinger, who left the Cubs 2 years ago to sign a 1-year deal with the New York Yankees. Bellinger, after a rough 2023 with the Cubs, turned his stats around last year. He hit 29 home runs on a .272, .334, .813 slashing line. Bellinger's contract will likely be around 6 years and $200 million. Personally, I think it would be a good decision for the organization to let Tucker walk and sign either Schwarber or Bellinger, even though they're a few years older. The Cubs are looking to enter a championship window, and getting one of these guys at a discount for roughly the same value on the field would be essential, so they can spend the leftover money on pitching. Last year, the Cubs were 10th overall in total spending in the MLB, and if they really want to compete with the other top spenders, they need to pay the premium for top-tier starting pitching. Speaking of pitching, the Cubs really need to acquire another starting pitcher if they want to be taken seriously. They have a great core of Shodi Imanga, Matthew Boyd, Justin Steele, and likely NL Rookie of the Year Cade Horton. I think that they should trade a top prospect or two for a guy like Joe Ryan from the Twins or Mackenzie Gore from the Nationals. I think that this move, along with their work in free agency, would cement the Cubs as favorites in the NL Central next year. That's all for the Cubs offseason checklist. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm AJ Lee.
Thanks, AJ. It seems there's a lot of big decisions ahead for the Cubs. And we'll see how it's handled this upcoming offseason. Now we're switching gears over to the Ramble and diving into Bulls predictions. Take it away, Joe.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Ramble. I'm your host Joe Mangold and I'm with AJ Lee and Zane Warkel for a strong rematch. Starting off with an update from last week, the NCAA Division II and Division III committees have not made a decision on athletes and staff being able to gamble on professional sports. Further updates will hopefully come soon. Now let's pivot to the local sports that all Chicago fans would be tuning in for. After a heartbreaking loss to the Chicago Cubs, the focus turns to the Bears, Blackhawks, Fire, and one more team who will begin Wednesday, October 22nd, the Chicago Bulls. This team could hopefully be a bright spot in Chicago as they gain a developing roster. With that, AJ, how do you think the Bulls will do this season?
You know, honestly, I think it's hard to track. I mean, this is a team that is incredibly volatile. Every year since 2022, they had a really strong 2021 start, as you remember, until Lonzo Ball got injured. Yeah. But every year since 2022, they've been sellers at the deadline, and they have not capitalized on that. They traded away Zach LaVine, they traded away DeMar DeRozan, and they got, what, Trey Jones and a second-round pick. They didn't trade away Nikola Vucevic last year when they should have. Now his trade value, no one wants him at all. Maybe they'll get a second-round pick for him, but I mean, he's worth $20 million a year. That's not worth a second-round pick.
Oh, yeah.
They have a nice young core. However, the league right now, that's not set up for nice young cores to win, barring the Thunder, who leagues beyond the Bulls. Let's not get ahead of ourselves there. I mean, you're going to have a starting five, likely consisting of Josh Giddey, Kobe White, a switch-off between Matas Buzelis and Isaac Okoro, who was a good addition, but at the price of Lonzo Ball, is he a good addition? Patrick Williams, who should not be starting under any circumstances. I'm so sorry for any Patrick Williams truthers, but like 7 points a game on 40% shooting, 15, not my cup of tea. And Nikola Vucevic, who hasn't been an all-star since 2022. I think it's really hard to put confidence into this team. I don't have much bias towards the Bulls. Yeah. I mean, their bench, you have what, Colby Jones and Kevin Huerter?
Not much, but
Not much at all. I mean, who's going to do it for them? Are we going to have Josh Giddey scoring 30 a game? I say no. So with that, I predict that the Bulls, again, are going to be sellers at the deadline. They're going to have a bad start. I think they're going to finish off the season a little better, as they trend to do. But I predict 35 wins for this team.
35 wins. All right. And Zane, what do you like to say?
Okay, I think, again, like AJ said, this team has a lot of upside. They're, I think, trending in a decent direction. But my problem is that while they have, Josh Giddey, Kobe White is a great offensive push, they have, Buzelis or Matas as a great power forward. This team has no interior defense. They have no stars on that position. To win these games, they need some defensive presence. And honestly, Victor is just not doing it. He's I guess, better on offense than he is anywhere else. And so I think this team is going to go 42-40. I think that there's a positive side there because their offense will carry them. But other than that, if they don't find a star on defense, they're going to stay in this mid-pack region. They might fall even lower in the future.
All right, and I'm assuming, Victor, you meant obviously Vucevic?
Yes.
Gotcha, just want to make sure. All right, well, for that, I'm going to have to give it to AJ. Woo! Mainly the record's good, but also, got to get the names right every once in a while at this point. Now, obviously, you guys never disappoint. Let's jump ahead to the end of the season for the NBA championship. Zane, what do you think the matchup's going to be, and who's going to be the winner?
So the matchup, I think it's going to be the Cavs versus the Thunder. Thunder have had some very heavy hitters. SGA was MVP last year, let's be honest. He was the leader in points scored. He also has backups like Jalen Williams. He also has a great defense in Chad Holmgren. They were able to carry this team to even be a top 10 defense. They have a top 10 offense. It's not more to say there. They just are going to be there. They have some small injuries coming up, but that'll only be during the beginning of the season. So I think they'll be able to handle that and be great when they're healthy. Now the Cavs, again, they also have their defensive player of the year to really combat the Thunder and also other players in their conference. So they got that is obviously Evan Mobley. He is going to be that player for them on defense. You've also got a great offense attack in in Devon Mitchell. He's going to be their leader in points, and he's also this team is really great. Now, granted, I think the Cavs are going to end up winning due to the fact that I think the Thunder has given up some secondary chances that will allow the Cavs to kind of fight back, and I think because the Cavs just have so much power, they will win this championship this year.
Wow, not a take I was expecting today, but all right, AJ, what do you think?
Honestly, it's a little difficult for me to agree with either of those picks. I have two new picks. Thunder, obviously, it's really hard to win a championship and then win another one. I mean, we've had seven new championship winners 7 years in a row. Why are they going to win now? I mean, it's hard to say. And with the Cavs, you lose Ty Jerome, incredibly important piece to you. You lose Isaac Okoro, who really was holding down defense at the small forward position. But you have now, you're going to start Max Strus, who's great on offense, one of the worst defenders in the league. My picks, however, I have the Denver Nuggets taking down the New York Knicks.
Wow.
And, before you say, whoa, Knicks, basketball, they suck, you got to hear me out. Jalen Brunson, top 10 player. Karl Anthony Towns, top 15 player, top 3 or 4 center, debating. You have OG Anunoby, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. You have Josh Hart, a guy who just does it all. Mikal Bridges, he hasn't missed a game in his NBA career. I mean, he's going to always show up. Miles McBride, great. Malcolm Brogdon just retired, actually, yesterday. He would have been a great backup point guard, but, what can you do? And there's many trade speculations circling around Giannis Antetokounmpo, which I'm not predicting that he's going to get traded there, but I like the odds. So I think that the Knicks are going to take in the East, and for the West, Denver, for the first time in his career, Nikola Jokic has a good backup center. Yeah. Jonas Valanciunas, they traded for him from the Sacramento Kings. He's going to be so great. Last year, actually, the Denver Nuggets, while Jokic was on the floor, were the best offensive team, a top 10 offensive team of all time, and a top 10 worst offensive team of all time when he was off the floor. I think that says a lot. I think getting him a good backup center is so crucial. They traded for Cameron Thomas from the Brooklyn Nets, who's just so much better than Michael Porter Jr., and he's going to fit on this team a lot better. You have Jamal Murray. I think they make a run to the finals, and I think they win it all.
All right. You two always, like I said, impressive. Great battle here. However, I will have to give this to Zane. Now, I like to take the Nuggets, but in my mind right now, I feel like Cleveland could be that sleeper team to take it. Now, guys, we're at a tiebreaker again. Now, for this one, it's going to be on the Bulls' history. Now, there's multiple players in our history that have been incredible, including Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, but we all know that's not it. For the tiebreaker question, who was the most recent Bulls player to win MVP? Got a few seconds to think about it. When you got it, just tap me on the shoulder and tell me what it is. Derrick Rose. All right. Surprisingly enough, you two both got it right. It was Derrick Rose. Now, honestly, here's the other question. Who's the greatest player of all time? Now, I'm going to let you both debate. We're going to go Michael Jordan and LeBron. Quick debate here. Only a few minutes, not even. AJ, start us off.
LeBron James is the best player of all time. If you disagree, you have not watched basketball. Michael Jordan played in a way different era. Yes, you can say, oh, he has 6 rings. Look at who those rings are against. The Utah Jazz, the Seattle Supersonics. LeBron plays in such a harder era where he has had to evolve. Think about how long he has played. He was the 2004 Rookie of the Year. The 2017 Rookie of the Year just retired yesterday. We just talked about him. 13 years prior, he's still playing. Think about how many eras he has gone through, and he has dominated. He has never not been a top 10 player. He has 4 rings against the greatest team of all time, the 2016 Golden State Warriors. Argue with a wall. They won the most games of all time, 73-9. He never had as much help as Michael Jordan. When Michael Jordan retired on his, little gambling trip from David Stern, the Bulls still won 50 games the next year. When LeBron left the Cavs, they got the #1 overall pick and got Kyrie Irving. You're going to tell me that, Michael Jordan is better than LeBron, but, Michael Jordan's team can still win 50 games without him when LeBron's wins 18 the next year? Honestly, that's ridiculous. LeBron's longevity, his scoring, he's a top 3 scorer of all time. He's one of the best defensive players of all time, considering it. He's played every single position and done amazing. He got robbed of MVP in 2011. Sorry, Derrick Rose. He should have won 5 in a row.
That's fair.
LeBron is the best player of all time. Argue with the wall.
Fair enough. I hate to cut you off there, but we got to hear from Zane at some point in time. So let's get going on that. What do you think?
So I am the wall because you're not going to be talking about that when we got Michael Jordan in the city of Chicago. All the Chicago fans out there, we know how great he was. He didn't leave his team to go to multiple different teams just to become some star player.
Ooh.
He stayed on the Bulls because he was the team leader. And that's something that we kind of lose today in modern sports. Not only did he just like dominate 6 championships, he had a dream team. That dream team was carried together with honestly drama kings, like what was it? But like, let's get to the brass tacks. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. He is a monster, and the fact that he just comes in, like he was like that team leader who pushed everyone to their best, to their peak, no doubt about it. LeBron is again number 2, and he's a very close competitor for that spot. But I think what Michael Jordan did in his time in a much more physicality league is unheard of. And so I got to give it to Michael Jordan.
All right. I mean, great taste from both of you guys. As a Chicagoan, it pains me to say this one, but I got to give it to AJ, mainly for the argument. Put up a great fight, both of you guys. And like always, you two are just great. Yeah, definitely a weird one to say for a Chicago fan. Now, of course, great taste from both you guys today. And as a Chicago fan, I can't help but root for the Bulls, and I can't help but hate the fact I just agreed with someone saying LeBron was a GOAT. Now, AJ, Zane, great job today, and I cannot wait for you guys to be back again. Now let's dribble this one back over to the anchors.
What a great discussion. I'm rooting for the Bulls to have a great year. Well, that wraps up this episode of Rambler Sports Locker. To stay up to date on all things Rambler Sports, be sure to follow us on X, TikTok, and Instagram at Loyola RSL and subscribe to our YouTube channel. From all of us here at Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Kim Flores. We'll see you next week, and don't forget to turn off the lights.